So Hot Toys gave us another announcement today. It's something that maybe we were expecting, but I'm one of those people that I'm a little surprised that they're continuing with the Ahsoka line. Nevertheless, we're going to be taking a look at the announced Anakin Skywalker from the Ahsoka TV show. So let's talk about it. Hey everyone, Mr. Mom Collectibles. I am back with another video. And today we're going to be taking a look at the announced Anakin Skywalker Clone Wars version from the Ahsoka Disney Plus TV show. Now, is this a surprise? I mean, it's one of those where you kind of expected it, but it's still a welcomed surprise when it gets announced, right? When we saw Hayden Christensen reprise his role in this show, we were kind of hoping that maybe we would get a figure. I have to say, though, the one thing I'm shocked about is that the continuation of figures from the Ahsoka line, I've said that before. If I'm correct, this is figure number 14, which it's up there with the amount of figures, which is pretty insane. And there's still room for additional figures to come out from the show. Nevertheless, let's talk about what we have on screen here. Anakin Skywalker from the Clone Wars. Great looking figure. This is not the first one we have. We do have another version that's been sitting on Sideshow for a couple years now, and obviously that's a different version versus this being more like the real live action version of Anakin Skywalker, played by Hayden Christensen. It honestly, I think it's been met with some mixed reviews. People love it, obviously, but then they're questioning the head sculpt, and we're going to get into that. But like I said, the figure looks, I think overall, it's a solid piece from Hot Toys. I did pre-order this already because I don't have an Anakin Skywalker. I do want to add it to the collection. I do have the Artisan on order, but it's one of those where I do have this, and then I have the Attack of the Clones version as well. So I'm welcome addition to the collection. Really excited for it. What's crazy about this figure, and just kind of we're going to flip through the photos so you guys can see, and I have a couple things up top that I'll show you guys to try to break down my mindset about this. Like I said, rolling eyeball system. It looks great with the poses. It looks great with the photos. Like, these are awesome. I mean, I've even seen people commenting saying, give us this little display base here, the holographic display base, which that'd be pretty cool. So you can kind of recreate that. And the poses look really awesome with the figure. Like I said, it's that updated look. The version here that you see is a little different compared to the Clone Wars version. Overall, it's the same, but stylistically just a little bit different. The colors are a little different, and the way the robes drape and stuff like that, but nothing too major. The armor, things like that. But overall, photos look great. The one thing that stands out, which is a first, is the blast effects, which I think is really neat. You still get the crappy sand base at the bottom here. With it looks like doesn't look like a crotch grabber. It looks like one of those like a little, I forget what it's called, like the older black poles. But the blast effects, which are amazing to look at, that's a first. For me personally, if these go up separately sold, depending on how these are attached to the lightsaber, if they're kind of universal, I would love to pick up a few extra of these to use with some other figures for photography and stuff like that. So like I said, I have no complaints about the figure whatsoever. I think it looks great. Lightsaber deflecting effects. So like right here, separate eye rolling system, the effects that we talked about, LED USB lightsaber, and then they're just highlighting some aspects of it. It's pretty bare bones, pretty simple, and you get a holographic little holograms there that no one ever uses. So I want to get into kind of like the nuts and bolts about the figure. So this is the photos from the Facebook page, and one thing I just want to jump out about. So I looked at this, and the sculpt, I think, looks really good. Obviously, the sculpt is the piece of contention. A lot of people feel like it doesn't look like him. Some people think it does. Right off the bat, I think the sculpted hair looks phenomenal. Number one, I think the hair looks phenomenal. The hairstyle, it is what it is. It's just how he wore his hair in the show. But the hair, I think, looks phenomenal. It really does. So phenomenal, I think, that if you all recall this photo here, when they announced the Ahsoka Tano Padawan version, assuming this is the same figure, people assume that this was going to be Artisan. Now, obviously, the photos here that we don't have like a complete back shot of the figure, but you can see the curls behind him. But I mean, assuming this is the same figure that is used in this promo photo, obviously we can compare the colors of the armor and things like that. But let's just say, for the sake of, that hair looks really good, where a lot of people assume that this was going to be a potential Artisan. There's a lot of comments where people thought this was going to be an Artisan figure, and it's not. And so that just kind of goes to show that, assuming that this is the same figure that was used, the hair looks phenomenal, because it tricked a lot of people into thinking that it was potentially a rooted job. But the hair looks great. The sculpt, it's just that facial expression. I'm not opposed to Hot Toys trying different things. There are examples of this on other figures that are announced. For example, the Iron Man Mark 6 with gantry, how he has like a smirk on his face, which captures a very specific scene when he's walking out and he gives a little bit of a grin. Also, the Iron Man Mark 7 suit up, where he's falling out of the building, he has a very specific facial expression there. And so I'm okay with Hot Toys when, they're doing multiple versions of a figure, you want to try something different. And so I'm completely fine with them trying something different. It just, the problem is it's going to be really difficult to achieve that specific look in almost any pose. What do I mean by that? Well, this look here, I don't mind. Sorry about that. This look here, I don't mind. The only thing about it, for me, it doesn't bode well to action sequences. This facial expression looks much better when he's kind of like in a museum, kind of bestowing knowledge or having a conversation or that kind of thing. For example, once again, here's a little still that I did from, not the best, but this is a picture here versus a still from the show. I'm not trying to do an exact carbon copy of that exact moment, but to give you an idea, this is when he was lecturing Ahsoka in between, at the end of a battle. And so it works. Like for me, it works when it's in this type of situation, museum pose. But when it's in an action pose, it's hard. Like it just, for some it may work, plays off, but it's kind of difficult. Like, with the mouth open, you can kind of fudge it with the eyes, the separate eye rolling system can kind of help sell the look. But for me, it's a little difficult. Like right there, it works. Here, I don't think it does, but that's okay. Now, I'm not questioning that it doesn't look like Hayden Christensen. It does, but it's the facial expression that he's making. It's a very specific expression where I think it bodes well to more, like I said, of a museum pose like this. This is just my own opinion. Obviously, it's my first reaction. I can get the figure in hand, different story. Now, we also know that Hot Toys figures sometimes when they go through a mass production, they lose, they lose a little bit of percentage points in degradation of the sculpt. So I am interested to see how this sculpt does bode, when it goes into mass production and we get the final photos. But as I said, one of the big awesome things about it, I thought was the price. So I originally guessed 280. I thought 280 was a fair price. It's the price of the Attack of the Clones, Anakin. It's bare bones. 265. Obviously, this is before shipping and taxes. It'll jack this up. But if you got rewards, coupon, things like that. So for a base price of 265, it's really not bad. It's one that I think I was pleasantly surprised about the price. I was expecting 275, 280. So to get 265, I think that's a great price given the circumstances, obviously. So that one I think is a really, like I said, no problem. My whole thing is, like I said, the sculpt itself and how it's going to be used. I think it looks better, like I said, in these situations versus that. That's just my own opinion. Like I said, I already pre-ordered the figure, so that kind of goes to show you where I'm with the where I stand. But let me know in the comments below what your thoughts are. Just because, not that I expected an overwhelming response of everyone was just on board, sold. There are definitely those people that are out there that are, but people were questioning the sculpt. And like I said, once again, to recap, I think that it looks like Hayden Christensen from pretty much any angle. I'm not contesting that. What I am contesting is the kind of, I don't want to say puppy dog eyes sculpt expression they went with, is how does it bode to different posing? Like here, he looks kind of awkward. Here he looks kind of awkward. There he looks okay. There he looks a little awkward to me. There he looks kind of all right. So when we can go photo by photo and kind of see, but like I said, in action poses, I think that's kind of the best when he's in those kind of poses with his hands behind his back, kind of mimicking, like I said, this kind of, pose here. So that's just my own thoughts. Like I said, let me know in the comments below what your thoughts are on the figure. Please consider dropping a like on this video and subscribing to the channel if this is in fact your first time. Like I said, let me know in the comments what you guys think. Are you picking this one up? Are you passing on it? Are you going to be selling your old version and then getting this one? Or are you going to keep both and display them a little differently? Let me know. I'm interested in engaging with you guys. But until then, this is Mr. Mom Collectibles saying take care, and I will see you guys in the next video.